guys, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to the Thrifty Apprentice channel version of the Crafty Corner. We are going to be finishing up our Jane Davenport inspired journal. We're just going to jump right in if you guys remember where we left off. This is pretty much what we've done so far, creating two open pockets, or open pocket there, one here, a pocket here. So we are going to be adding two additional pockets to finish up the cover, and then we will work on adding in the signature. You may want to use a mixed media paper in your journals. Of course, you would choose a paper size based on the size journal that you're creating, keeping in mind that you fold most papers in half. Eventually in this particular series, we will get to binding single pages, but for the first couple of videos and the first couple of journals that we create together, we are just going to be looking at the regular way to make signatures. You could use book pages. You can use a regular ruled notebook paper. You can use music sheets. You can use whatever type of paper you want. Just keep in mind that the type of paper you put into your cover is going to depict the type of journal that it is. If you're a junk journalist, you'll use all types of paper in there. If you're an art journalist, you may want to stick to mixed media paper or just watercolor paper. Now, in my case, I create what is known as art books. As you guys know, a mixture of art and junk journals, or if you want to say art journaling techniques using junk journal ways. I'm going to sort of be turning this art book into a drawing, graphite color pencil, watercolor pencil, and journaling art book, if that's what I choose to do in it. So now sometimes when I am just sitting around watching TV, I will create ephemera ahead of time, and that's what you'll see here in this box. I'm just going to get it on camera as much as I can, and it has all types of pre-made ephemera to go inside the journals that I create, made from all different types of papers. You guys see, you'll see here, you guys remember the mushroom houses that we did not too long ago. They're in here because they are completed ephemera. Here I have the little lemons that we did like last video. They're here. Let's see, I have all different types of things in here, guys, that I've created. Here is a little folio, and I make this stuff ahead of time, and it is stuffed with all types of little bird journaling cards. That's actually watercolor paper, so you can paint little landscapes and things on the back of that. So I have all this type of pre-made ephemera already stuffed inside this little box. So as I create journals, you know, I can kind of speed, especially when we're doing videos. So I was wondering, I thought that I made some things from some Jane Davenport pattern paper and stuffed in here. Could have sworn I did, because I thought, well, there we go. I knew that there was at least one, so we're gonna pull that one out. And I've already pulled the matching piece of Jane Davenport paper out of the pattern pack I was using that matches this. And these are the two pieces of paper I'm going to use for the pockets on the inside. I'm really trying to keep this journal kind of whimsical and full of all these really cutesy artsy ladies. This one is already done for us, as you can see, and that's what I love about making stuff ahead of time. And this is an laminated pocket I made. Basically, I took this piece of paper, folded it in half, laminated it in my laminating machine, and then cut the top off, which opened it up to create this neat little pocket that you can put journaling cards or tags or inspiration photos if it's an art journal, whatever you want to. And I think we're just going to be putting that there. Okay, let's go ahead and create this one. Now, I am not going to remove the perforated area at the top, simply because I want to keep that full facial figure. I can keep this cut straight. I told you guys before, this cutter does not like me, and it really seems to be off a little bit. Yeah, and that creates a pretty deep pocket, and I get to keep the whole image. Just gonna make a little mark I can always go back and erase it. And going slow, I'm trying to make sure I keep a straight cut. Now this is a 1.5 inch circle punch that I'm using to create the little thumb holy. Now you use whatever size you want. I like this size. Now I don't have daubers, as you guys know by now, if you've been watching my channel. I use makeup sponges for the most part. I don't have them sitting here with me, so I'm just gonna use direct pad paper to ink the edges and just get rid of that white. And we're gonna sit that to the side and let that dry while we adhere down this pocket. I use Fabrifix. It's great for fabric to fabric, fabric to paper, paper to paper. I need my big bottle of Fabrifix so that I can cover more area. And I learned about this glue from Pam over at the Paper Outpost. Wonderful junk journaling channel. I actually learned a lot from her when I first started delving into making journals and bookbinding. She has a wonderful channel. I actually order a lot of her digi-kits as well, just in case glue decide it wants to come seeping out the side for some reason. So we're gonna just put a thin strip of glue along the end. We want to keep as much of a pocket as we can. So I'm just gonna line it up with the inside panel. Make sure it's straight along the bottom. And we're gonna plop that on down. And then I'll use my paper towel to apply some pressure to it. So we're gonna get that time to dry, and we're gonna move on to working on the signatures, because that is the completion of our journal cover. So we kept it really simple, but I think it's really cute and whimsical. Really nice cover for any type of journal that you would like to make it into. So now let's work on signatures. So let's just say you're choosing papers for your signature. You can choose whatever type of papers you want, as we discussed earlier. So what you would then do is measure the size of the journal cover that you're going to be using, because you want your papers to fit comfortably inside your journal cover without protruding. In most cases, there may be times when you're designing journals when you want things to protrude out the side and the top. That is completely at your discretion. But on a normal basis, you would be cutting the paper so they fit the inside of the journal without protruding anywhere, okay? So what you want to do is fold your papers as evenly as possible, lining them up along the edge of both sides, and then creasing papers. Now I use this size because I gauged the 8.5 by 11 paper would be big enough to be folded in half and still be inserted. Can you see how those papers will protrude out? That's what I was talking about. There may be times when you actually want to create your journals like that. That's completely on you. So now what I would do is if you had all the different types of papers, you would be taking the papers and actually layering one inside the other in order to create your signature until you got the number of papers in a signature that you wanted. I hope that makes sense. So let me show you the things that I created. Now I actually created the individual pages for my signature from cards and envelopes. So I did not use the traditional type of papers. So for instance, here I have a card that went with one of the envelopes that I created this from. And what I did was I stamped that card all over the inside with an image that I could color, essentially turning it into a coloring page, right? I flipped it over on the back. I lined it with book pages. On one side, I took one of the gel prints that was done from that printing session. I stamped it with images that can be colored, because coloring with an opaque color pencil on top of that gel pooled background is going to be really, really nice. So essentially, that's a coloring page. And then on the back, I just backed it with a panel of 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper. That way I could do watercoloring or use any other water soluble medium on that, essentially turning it into a painting or a coloring page. So that's what I did with that card to create one page. And of course, that one page gives me 4 sides. All right. For my second page, I just cut down one of the gel prints that I did from the same printing session, excuse me, and folded it in half. So it's completely clear on the inside. This is cardstock, of course, graphite, colored pencils, light watercolor, gouache. There are so many different things that you can actually use on cardstock. That's one of the pages. I have another card page here that is done similar to the first page, stamped on the inside for coloring, stamped on the outside because I want to work on faces more. I'm going to try to use colored pencils there. And then, of course, there's a watercolor paneling sheet on the back, creating another page. So, you see, I've actually created my pages. You can insert whatever type of pages you want. Here, I have a page that's created from two envelopes that was done during that gel printing session. Just took some of the leftover paper that we used when we were putting together the journal, made some pockets, inserted one envelope inside the other to make it one page, backed it with a gaming page out of a puzzle book, and then I laid down a face chart and then an information chart for that face chart, because again, I do want to work more on portraits and faces, so essentially turning this also into a coloring page or a painting page. And then here we have room to insert other types of papers in order to paint or draw on or what have you. So I have that one, and then of course I have another page made exactly the same way from 2 other envelopes pulled during that gel printing session. I have the pockets. The only difference is I layered those pockets with book pages just to bring in the booky feel a little bit more. On the back side, again, we have a puzzle page that has been put down for the backing. And here I've put down a coloring page, more coloring space. And then I also have this white area here for drawing, color pencils, and more coloring. So as I told you, essentially I'm turning mine into a coloring book art journal of sorts. So those are the pages that are going to be inserted inside my signature. In this case, I will not be trimming my pages. The reason I'm not trimming my pages is because I don't want to cut any of the work that I did beforehand. Now let's talk about attaching your signatures to your journal. Now I am just going to go ahead and make sure that these pages are lined up, because you want to line them up in the spine. Now I would make a template for my where I'm going to put my holes. Let me explain show you what I mean. So I'm just going to take one of those pieces of papers that I folded in half, right? And I'm going to measure it for the size of the pages that are going to be inserted. Get that as flush against the top to make it even as we can. Now I can just cut it down to be any width. I always cut it long enough to make sure that it protects the pages of the signature that I'm inserting into the journal. I'm going to reclamp that again by centering it into the journal. And we're almost done actually constructing the journal. All I have to do is decorate it. And we'll do a flip through. I'm going to decorate it off camera, of course. All right, so what you need at this point is a pokey tool. I am going to be using an awl. They're awl, A-W-L, I think, awl. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm going to be using this in order to poke the holes through my signatures and through my journal cover in order to bind in with a technique known as the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Basically, we're going to put 3 holes in, and then we're going to use a stitch creating a figure 8 in order to bind the pages to the journal. Okay, now the correct way to do this would be to take this template, measure it, put the holes the exact same width apart as they should be from the middle, and then the same with the part from the top and the bottom. I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna go here, about the middle was about there. Yeah, about there. So I'm just gonna slowly press my way through that signature until I see the tip of my R come out the back. Can you guys see that? Now you don't want to jug it all the way through and create this huge hole. But I'm just creating a hole huge enough to, big enough to sew through, right? So I'm gonna go back inside, and I'll come about from the very top. I'm measuring and guessing that I'm coming about an inch and a half down. Yep, we're gonna go with it. So what happens when you don't measure, right? You just kind of go with it. And again, I'm gonna just kind of keep slowly working that until I see the tip of that all come out the back. Again, creating a hole big enough just to sew through. Inch and a half from the bottom. At this point, what you would want to do is remove the template. That way you can sew. So we're gonna go ahead and just, it doesn't take much, just slide it out of there because we've already created our holes. So I'm going to be using black thread or black yarns. Okay, so what I use when I am doing my pamphlet stitching is embroidery floss. Some people use wax thread. I know some people that use craft yarn. I like embroidery floss because it's strong enough to bind the books and keep them bound, but it's not super thick. But it's all about personal choice in that matter. What I'm going to be sewing with is an embroidery needle. What you normally want to do is pull enough thread that's 3 times the length of the middle of your spine. And that should be enough to bind with. Me, I never take it off the end. You know, I want to use as little as possible, trying to be as resourceful as I can. So how do you do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you ask? So you'll start with your needle, and you're going to create a figure 8, starting by inserting through the inside of the middle hole. So we'll go in and out the back. And here's where we are. Can you guys see my thread there? It's coming out. Now I'm going to go through the back on the top hole. So we'll go through the back on the top, and it'll come through the top inside, and we will pull that on through. Now, if you didn't quite make your hole big enough, you may have to do a little finessing. Like, for some reason, I guess the hole, there we go. Just have to give it a little strength, right? All right, I'm just gonna make sure I have enough yarn to work with, and I'm gonna pull that on through. So now we have through the middle, out the back, through the back top, out the middle top, out the front top, or the, front top. Then we're gonna go down to the last hole on the bottom in the front, coming out the back. Okay, you're gonna put it to give yourself enough string. So here we are, we're out the back of the bottom, right? This is the bottom hole. So now we're gonna go through the middle again from the back. Keep in mind, this is where we started, essentially creating a figure 8. Now, before I go through there's a couple of things I wanna make sure. I wanna come up front, and I wanna pull this one that's still attached kind of to the side. I'm doing it because I wanna get it out of the way. The one thing you don't wanna do when you insert the needle back through the middle from the back is do what's known as splitting the thread or sewing through the thread on the front. You kind of want to bring it to the side so that you don't split any of the yarns. I hope I'm making sense. So here, what I'll do is I'll go through the back. It's going to bring me through the front. Now what I'm going to do is check and make sure that I didn't split any of that thread. And I don't know if you can see that. I think that is, I'm not sure if you can see that. But there I did. My needle is coming up through the middle of one of those strings on top. So what I want to do is pull that string up until I get the thread completely off the needle and sit it to the side, because I don't want to sew through the thread. I want to sew through the side of it. And I'm going to go ahead and then pull that through the rest of the way. At this point, I can take my needle off because I've created my figure 8. I really hope that you guys were able to follow that. Last step, I want to take this that I pulled out, the thread end that I pulled off the needle, and I'm going to put it back under and pull it to the other side, because what I want to do is create a bridge. I want one side on this side of the thread and another side on this side, and that middle thread should be right in the middle of those. Okay, I'm going to pull that tight to make sure that we got it bound together. Not too tight, because you want your pages to turn. Okay, and at this point I need to just snip off the thread from the end here. I'm just gonna snip that off. I'm probably wasting a little thread, but that's okay. So now we've got that bound, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and remove my clips at this point. Okay, all right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie 2 knots over and under to the right, pull it down, kind of tighten it. I'm going to make sure we're good. Okay, it seems good. I don't want it too loose. If it seems too loose, just tighten it. And then I'm going to knot one more time over and under to the left. And tie it down tight. I go ahead and cut those little things. I'll leave just a little tail. It's not much at all, just so you know that's the middle. And then I'll use that thread for something else. And there we have our book. I'm gonna close it and crease it just to make sure it folds. And then we'll open it from page to page inside, making sure that it opens, and just want to flex it. All right, and there we have it. Now it's gaping. It's a fresh book. It's a fresh journal, so it's gaping, especially with the type of cards that's in it. But I would just put that under some heavy books for about a night or two, and then it would lay out flat. And over time, it's gonna lay out flat. But the things that we're gonna insert in it is only gonna make it gape anyway, so who cares, right? That is what the journal looks like that we have constructed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate this journal fully off camera, because this video series was about constructing the cover and how to actually put the journal together. We're going to have plenty of videos on decorating and making ephemera. So what I'm going to do is jump off camera, go ahead and decorate this bad baby, and then we'll be back for a final flip through. And just like that, we're back. Well, for you guys anyway. For me, it's been half a day or so. And I wanted to come back now and show you guys how I decorated the journal and do a final flip through, so that we can bring this journal creation to an end after 3 videos. So I made a closure for the journal, and this was just made out of some of stretchy string that was on like a edible arrangement that I received, and then the little chain area just came from some leftover costume jewelry. And so that's what I used to just make the closure for the journal. And because it's stretchy, as things are added to the journal and the journal bulks up a little bit, you know, the closure, excuse me, will stretch with the journal. And you can do it either way. You can, you know, you could put it this way if you want. You know, you have to tighten it up a bit if you decide that's the way you want yours to go. And you know, a lot of things that you see in this embellishment flip through portion, we will eventually be having videos on how to make a lot of these different things as the Crafty Corner series continues. So let's pull this off. That's how I'm closing it. And of course, here's our journal. You guys remember the cover. We designed that together. Now we'll flip to the inside. On the very inside of the journal, the immediate pocket that we added, I placed a little booklet for my pre-made box. And that is just a drawing booklet. It has regular sketch paper and pastel paper in it for little quick miniature sketches or notes if I wanted to. And it's bound into some gel printing that I did a couple of months back, and just made some ephemera out of that. So that lives in that little pocket. You can put whatever you want in that pocket: tags, journaling cards, inspirational photos, magazine pictures that you're using in order to draw from, what have you. So in the inside pocket that we created, I have a one-page fold out that was made. This again was in that pre-made ephemera box, and basically it's a magazine, a picture that, you know, I just took from that was taken, is what I'm trying to say, from a magazine, and backed with some sketchbook paper, some sketching paper, so you can journal or draw, color pencils, even really like watercolor and watercolor pencils too. And it's just adhered to that, and then I sewn just to create a little one-pager, folded up into envelope form. And I have a lot of these in different shapes and sizes that I use to just insert into journals here and there for extra drawing in or writing space. So that's one of the many things that lives there. And you know, you don't have to do this. This is just giving you ideas, you know. So as you guys remember, the first stamp page, which is meant for coloring, color pencils. And then as you flip in, you have the mermaids, again, meant for coloring. Now you would come to the first page, which was the back of a gel print. Now here I've just attached this really cute little bag or pocket that was made here with this cute little journaling tag in it. Now that's meant for drawing. I have a lot of color pencil and drawing space in here because I really need to practice on those. And I think this will be great inspiration to do it in something that's so fun and collective. And so here I have this little pocket that is made from a book page, a lamination pouch. It's just got a little picture there for a backing. I tried to make sure to kind of keep the same theme throughout the entire journal, this sort of whimsical lady, beautiful sort of feel going on. So yeah, that journaling tag lives inside that pocket. And that pocket, which is two-sided, by the way, you can put something in the pocket on this side as well, which is why you see an image there. So that lives here. And it's just paper clipped in, because paper clips are a wonderful way to attach things inside your journals. So it's just paper clipped in there. And then we'll move on. Here we have a clear page for drawing or writing or journaling. Stamp image, which I told you guys I wanted to work more on faces. And I thought doing it in colored pencils would be really cool. So we do have that gel printing as the background. And that acrylic paint is gonna be great for the colored pencil as far as the tooth is concerned. Here we have more stamp images of some bustiers that I can color different colors, different themes. There's some extra space here for doodling or journaling or writing if need be. On that first gel printed page, of course, there was a pocket, and here I've just added a journaling tag. Well, it's backed with mixed media paper. You guys remember this from the Whimsical Mushroom House video. So that can be used for whatever mixed media paper can be used for. So, you know, there's no limitations to how you can do your journals, the different things that you can mix and match into them. Make them fun. Yeah, I understand that a lot of things we like to stick to tradition with, but why not break outside the box and just have some fun? That's what art is supposed to be about. And that's why I try to design art books the way that I do. And there's going to be a lot more coming, guys. So please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when the new content is coming out, so you don't miss the different things we're going to be doing in the art journaling, crafting, junk journaling, card making world. All right, let's go ahead and finish up this flip through. So on the next page, you remember the face chart. A couple of pages from now, we're going to run into the actual journaling part for that. Now here next to that is another gel printed page that was the envelopes that were put together, if you remember. Now here in this pocket, I just put some more pre-made ephemera from that box that I showed you guys. And this is just some postcards. And on the back is some drawing or journaling space. Yeah. And they just live here, you know, and just adding extra things in there to have really fun ways to create. Flipping on over, you're going to remember the insert for coloring, drawing and coloring here. We have the coloring page of this beautiful lady. Again, the theme running throughout the journal. I think it's just really cool. And I love the fact that these are not standard pages. Flipping on over, we're coming across our next gel printed envelope that was joined together. The pocket that was on that now contains this little cute journaling card here. Yes, the back is mixed media paper, so you can do whatever you do with mixed media paper on the back of this card. A landscape, a botanical drawing, anything of that sort. Watercolor pencils. This would be great for a watercolor pencil botanical drawing. And I love it, love it, love it, love it. Even a fashion croquet, if you are into fashion design, something, and you know, again, I'm just giving you guys ideas of what you can do and what you can create, right? So on the page next to that, we had the face chart right in. Now here, I was thinking it would be really cute to kind of doodle some faces in the corners and kind of write around it what I'm learning about faces as I do it. Just a real fun, interactive way to practice on doing my faces and having a real, you know, whimsical way of doing it. Flipping on over, we come to the next envelope that was gel printed, part of the session that we did. It contains a tag again, keeping the female theme going. Really whimsical and cute. I love this little umbrella. And right, so the backing paper here is actually script that I wrote out with a waterproof pen. And then we have these really cool see-through stickers that have these wonderful little readings on them. This one says, "The Wandering Spirit of the World." And then this is a little poem about rain. Ironically enough, she has the umbrella. I thought it's really cute and whimsical. Again, backed with mixed media paper, so you could do whatever you do with mixed media paper. Painting is my favorite thing on mixed media paper, watercolor painting. All right, so here we have, again, more of the bustiers for coloring, space for journaling or drawing. Flipping over to the very first full page of 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper. So you know what you can do with watercolor paper. Here next to it, we have another drawing, color pencil, journaling area. We flip over, and here to the back of that print, or on the print to the back of that journaling spot, we have an attachment again using just a little simple paper clip, which is wonderful ways to add things into your journals. I'll say it again. We attach that beautiful little lemon journaling cards that we did the other day in a video that's on the channel somewhere if you want to go check it out. Really cute, really cool. You can make these in the type of ways. This one just happens to be for drawing and or writing, but you can make them for watercoloring or whatever type of paper you decide to back them with. Go check that video out. It's really cool. We painted the lemon, and then I kind of showed you guys what I did to reproduce that painting and turn that painting into journaling cards. So had a lot of fun in that video. All right, let's move on. Here we have more coloring space and our journaling writing space. Flipping over to the back, we have another sheet of watercolor paper for watercoloring. And then we come to the back of the journal with the pockets that are here. So on the back, all three of the final cards and tags that we're about to look at are backed with mixed media paper. So saying it again, they can be used for whatever you use mixed media paper for. Okay, so in this first pocket here, there's this journaling card. So this is what we did with this one. Really whimsical, love it, really cute, continuing, beautiful lady theme. Again, more of that script paper that I designed back with books and clear stickers and a beautiful poem about true love there in the corner. And as you can see, that is mixed media paper on the back of that. That's why I'm holding it like I am. Keep my hands out of it. So, that's that card. Let's just slide that back in there. And then if you remember, oh, let me see if I can get in there right. Okay. If you remember, above that pocket was the pocket that we created in the actual side of the journal, right? So in that pocket, we have another journaling tag that I created. And these are the things that I was doing off camera to come back and do the flip through. That's how that one looks. I had a lot of fun. And don't worry, we're gonna have videos where we learn how to create a lot of these different things and really using stuff that you have around the house. Now, I just so happen to be using some stickers that I got off, like, I believe Amazon to create these. Some of this is like cake decorating, like these butterflies are actually for cake decorating. They're not even for like scrapbooking, card making, journaling, anything of that sort. So yeah, you'll be surprised. We're gonna go through how you can use so many different things to make beautiful, beautiful things to add to your journals. So that's that journaling card. I'm gonna slide that back in there, and then we're gonna take a look at the last one, which, if you remember, was on the very back of the journal. The very back of the journal, we turned that into a pocket to slide stuff in, and I just created this cute little tag. And it is backed with, this is a journal. Okay, so yeah. So this is backed with file folder. So this is for journaling, writing, graphite, color pencil, watercolor pencil. And this is what the front of that journaling tag looks like. So there you have it, guys. We have finally come to an end with that flip through. And I'll just run through one more time for you. And you can decorate yours however you choose. You can, I love these little bags. I can't wait to get to the video where I show you guys how to make those. But you can decorate your journals however you choose to make them fun, to make them whimsical, to make them something that you want to pick up and go back to and want to create in on a regular basis. And those are the type of things that we're going to concentrate in this particular series, where we look at how I put together different art books. Now, throughout the videos that come up in this series, some of the products will be listed eventually on the Esty Shop. I mean, in full disclosure, some of them I'll be giving away, and some of them I'll be just using and gifting and what have you. But that is our journal that we made, starting out with 2 envelopes and a pack of Jane Davenport pattern paper that we had sitting in our stash for the better part of 3 years now. So guys, hopefully you saw something throughout these 3 videos. This video, tips, tricks, techniques, things that'll help you put together journals at home so that you can have fun creating and having a ball. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can keep up with the different type of things we're going to be doing on, in this series. I'll show you guys a sneak peek really quickly of what we have coming up in the next video. In the next Crafty Corner video. So, I don't know. I may have to start putting in some special editions. So, we're going to be doing some of these really cute 3/4 journals. And this is one that I created from scratch. I mean, original pattern paper, done by hand and everything. So we're going to be doing things of this sort. I'm going to be showing you how to make these gorgeous little notebooks that you can use for drawing and journaling and watercolor and coloring. So we're gonna be looking at making some really cute things. So I want you guys to be sure to hit that notification, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Don't forget to share the video. Remember that sharing is caring, and maybe there's someone else out there that would love to see this information. Hit us up on all the social media sites, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and you are more than welcome to join the the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group, Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, where we accept and do all things artsy and crafty. And remember, as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, just keep painting and crafting.